Hello and welcome to Your Ultimate Comeback, episode 52. We've been alive and kicking for 1 year.
Woo!
Yes, 52 weeks straight.
Excellent.
Yeah, excited.
Excellent.
But as Raquel pointed out, it's my 1 year anniversary, not hers yet.
Mine's not till, what? Gosh, we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because I was not here till the 28th, I think.
Are you going to set it up so you get more than that little cheer I just got? You're going to set it all up?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more for the cheer 1 my year. Yeah, of course.
I see how this works.
Sure.
I see how this works. Well, hey, we're super excited. We have a guest with us today. Excited to jump in and explore with her. Her name is Lisa Hudson-Beale.
Yes.
Like Jessica Biel.
Yeah. Spelled differently, but you're really hung up on that, aren't you?
I am. It's my favorite actress. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so I'm going to let Raquel kind of introduce her because this is a close friend of hers and have at it.
Okay. Well, Lisa and I met at UCI when we were going to college there in a class. And you finished. I didn't. But that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Was Leslie in that class as well?
No, she was my roommate. She was a couple of years older than us.
Okay, okay. But I knew her through you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So fast forward to she's engaged. She's going to get married. She asked me to be in her wedding. I was married. I don't know if I was already married. What was your...
I think you were engaged. I think you got married the next year.
No, it was faster than that, sadly.
Oh.
Yeah. So to my first husband. So I remember going she asked me to be in the wedding. It was in Idaho, and we flew out. And he's not the best. I shouldn't say it. Rest in peace. That's not very, Anyway, it was not the best for me. Let's just say that. But anyway, so we kind of, I don't want to say, we didn't really keep in touch very much. But then you came, I forget how it happened. Did you reach out to me on Facebook maybe and said, hey, I'm going to be in town with my daughter. I'd like to see you at Raw Yoga? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that it was probably just like a Facebook Messenger post kind of thing, because I had followed you, so I had seen that you were still active in that, because I used to teach aerobics also, and you did, and that's kind of, we bonded over that, and we would travel around and go see different classes and everything. So I was just, my husband and I, we love to come back and visit, just because I just love Newport Beach. But I live in Boise, Idaho now. So we came to visit, and we just happened to be so close to you that we just ran over and got to visit for a minute. Very cool. Then I've just been following you over the years, and I love seeing what's going on with your kids. Thank you. Then I saw this podcast, Your Ultimate Comeback, and I listened for a bit, and then just wanted to reach out to say, it's so good. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And I've kind of had an ultimate comeback. And
not kind of. You have. Yeah.
Excited to explore that.
Yeah. So yes, tell us.
Dive in.
Yeah.
So about 18 months ago, my husband had what's called a widowmaker, which is 100% blockage of your LAD.
Wow.
At 60 years old, just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
And he was lucky to live through it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, we're going to make some changes here. Mm-hmm. We had been just doing stupid stuff.
Do you want to give us examples of the stupid stuff, or is that okay?
Well, no, we can. We just kind of COVID was real hard on our business, and we just kind of ate our way through it. Some of the things we live in a neighborhood that has lots of different ice cream shops, and we would go walking every night and try a different one. And we would be joking that we were training to walk to Dairy Queen, which was like 5 miles away. Okay. And so we were just joking like, oh my gosh, it would be so crazy. We'll just, kind of gear up for it. We'll just, and so, just eating that, nachos for dinner, and just really not being mindful at all of, and I would see pictures and just, that can't be me. That's the camera, whatever, just really not thinking, not weighing in anything. So, so my husband said, I'll do whatever you say. I'll eat whatever you say.
No, this is after the incident.
This is right after the incident, like on the way home from the hospital.
Oh, okay.
He's like, okay.
He's like, I'm lucky to be alive.
Yes. So this book is called The Schwarzbein Principle.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
Isn't she something?
Yeah, I have all her books. She was a
yeah.
big influence on me early on in my career.
So she's in Santa Barbara.
Oh.
And I knew I had read it before. And I mean, I am a diet warrior. I had to lose 10 pounds, then I had to lose 20 pounds, then 30, then 40, and now I had 50.
Okay.
And my husband had about 35 pounds to lose.
Okay.
So I picked this book up and I went through and I flagged every page. I said, you don't have to read it all, but read these pages. And see, you're not just listening to me. I'm telling you what she says, you know. So he did cardiac rehab 3 times a week for 12 weeks. And I started changing our food. And I was like, you're not going to eat that way. I'm not going to eat that way. You're going to walk every day. I'll walk with you.
Nice.
And so we started walking, cut out all the processed food and the crap. And little by little, it started coming off and we started feeling better.
Good.
And so about 8 months later, I lost 50 pounds and he lost 35 pounds.
Incredible.
And so I had such a struggle. I had never been able to keep it off. Like I would always have a goal in mind or an event, something coming up. As soon as I lose this, as soon as I'm here, I'll have this.
Yes.
I'll reintroduce this.
Sure.
And I am an all or nothing person. I cannot have a bite.
I know that one.
I just, a bite is not for me.
Right,
so there is no like everything in moderation or mindful eating for me. It is, I cannot have that.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he said, well, I'm not going to have that either.
Good.
And so when it's not just one of us having ice cream, you know, neither of us are having ice cream or French fries or, you know, if we have a hamburger, it's a lettuce wrap or something. So basically it is a kind of paleo keto kind of thing thrown in there. I'm going to be 60 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm right behind you, sister.
I know.
Yeah.
So I just felt like whenever this was called the ultimate comeback, and then, you know, I was like, I feel better than I did in all of my 50s.
Yeah.
And so I guess by wanting to be on here, I'm like, I don't have any special letters behind my name.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I'm not a professional in this kind of business or anything, but I'm real good at losing it. But I have never been able to keep it off, except I have now for 18 months.
That's incredible.
And I really feel like that's kind of the key is that I just know that is just not for me.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this much. You made a hell of a decision with the book you decided to pick up. Like, I wish I had my Schwarzbein Principle book here. You'd see mine is all flagged as well.
Yeah.
Her principles are incredible.
Okay, I don't know this book, so tell me.
Yeah, Suzanne Schwarzbein is her name. She's written a couple books now, but her philosophy, her theories, her science, really, really solid stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, you probably couldn't have picked up a better book for what you were looking for, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, she's really, really good. Yeah.
And
like
I have a stack of books. I mean, I've been on every plan there is, and I have read every book. But this one is what immediately jumped to mind is like, that's what I need to go. That's where we need to start back at.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's real smart, and it makes so much sense. It's an an easier read for a hard subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell I even tell all my colleagues, like, you got to read her stuff. Like, I think everyone should read her stuff personally.
I do. Oh, I do too. She even has like a companion cookbook. Oh. And this was written in 1999. So it's not new.
Yeah.
But I re-looked through it recently just to make sure. And I'm like, none of this is something fad-ish.
Yeah.
This is the science. And, Dr. Amen I just think he is really something. And I listen to his podcast and his Instagram and everything. And, he is just, so, you don't eat that crap.
Yeah.
And don't drink that and whatever. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's very true. And I just came from a baby shower at my sister's house, and I was visiting with some people, and they were talking about Ozempic and going on all these things. And I like took one to the side. I'm like, you don't need to do that.
Right.
I listened to what I just did, and I showed her this book and whatever. I'm like, it's not quick.
Yeah.
But really, it wasn't that hard.
Well, probably taking out the processed foods is such a huge component.
Oh yeah, because the addictions, the food addictions that kick in there. But like Schwarzbein, it's all a lifestyle. It's not like, okay, you're going to do this for the next 90 days and everything's it's like, no, this is your new life.
Right.
And the principles she teaches, her principles are so lifestyle oriented.
Yeah.
Like I love that Lisa's saying like it's all or nothing. It's really hard to be successful in moderation.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it just is.
Yeah.
Well, I think people all want to believe that.
Yeah.
That I can, you know, or that's, I think where the cheat day came about, right? You're going to be good 6 days a week, and then you're going to go off the rails on the seventh day.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, somehow like day 8 come back.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like Body for Life. Do you remember that big book and everything?
Yes.
I did that whole thing. And, you know, that one cheat day, literally, I would start I'd get up at 5 a.m. I don't get up at 5 a.m. for anything. But if
cheat
I
day you did.
a donut in my future or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, it was crazy. And I saw a number the other day, somebody saying, you know, if you are super good Monday through Thursday, but come, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's only a 57%.
Right.
You know, success rate. That's a D. That's failing.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot expect anything from that. Right. And fortunately, my husband and I we had been sober. We had almost 30 years.
Good for you guys.
So we already had
that element
cleaned that way, right? And then I had been gluten-free for about a dozen years for health. But boy, I could sure eat a cauliflower pizza.
Yeah, no,
you know,
right.
Which the carbs and everything, and then just how it just sets off something in your brain. It just turns on something so that, you know, it was never enough for me. And you know, I tried to kind of buy into that, you know, lifestyle of, I'm going to be happy with myself, body positivity, and I'm just going to try to dress whatever.
Right.
And that I was just going to try to fake my way into it's okay for me to be this overweight. And I never got rid of my clothes that, you know, my size 2 clothes.
Yeah, because she's tiny. She's a tiny person.
I was just like, I just knew I should not be a size 12.
Right.
But I could not bear to get rid of, and I never wanted to spend any money on those clothes. You know, I was just like, I just felt so terrible about myself at that weight. And it just changed. It just makes, I don't think you could be, at least for me, I wasn't really myself, you know, and I feel so much, you know, more confident.
Yes.
Just the fact that I even could be here on some kind of a camera, or that I even felt like reaching out, you know, to you. I wanted to let you know, that we were doing so good. I never thought you would want me to come talk, because I just didn't think I had much to share really, except that I think that I didn't think I had it in me to do one more thing, one more diet.
Right.
The energy, I just thought, I didn't see how I could. And then I did.
Yeah, that's so great.
And it really worked. And I'm not talking about, you know, our crazy diet culture we grew up in.
Yep.
I mean, we used to carry that little book. I think it was called the T Factor or something.
Oh, God.
Where we would look up the fat grams in
God,
everything.
I'm having a flashback, Lisa.
Yeah. We would go to Mother's Market in that restaurant and have these dishes or 100, loads of rice.
I had forgotten about this.
Crazy.
Yogi Special, it was called. Rice, vegetables, a bunch of goopy sauce, no protein whatsoever.
No fat, zero fat, right?
Yes.
So we grew up with that, just thinking that was so, just so terrible. And so I just thinking I was like, I can't do it again.
Yeah.
And all the exercising, trying to exercise my way out of whatever I had just ate. You can't possibly, right?
No.
So this was walking We got a Fitbit.
Yeah.
We walked our 10,000 steps. It would take several walks to get him in. He had to start real slow.
Sure.
That we did for just only that for 6 months. Then, I added a little yoga class.
Fantastic.
I think maybe I can do this, just the slightest amount of thing until you're just like, I feel like I could do more.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do half of that. I feel like I could lift 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Just the absolute. And so the fact that I could lose 50 pounds, which was a third of my body weight, without doing anything crazy, no crazy, pills or diets or major exercise. So I guess that's what I was thinking maybe I could convey today is for the people who, just
where do I start?
How do I start? I think a lot of people who listen to you guys are already, like really maybe into fitness and really, interested in all that kind of thing. Not all, but there's probably other people like me and my husband who, we didn't think we were in that bad of shape. And his, he wasn't that overweight and he walked 25,000 steps a day. He rode a bike. I mean, he was really not that out. I mean, it wasn't crazy, except we had no idea this was what was cooking inside.
Wow.
And I mean, it was so, can you imagine what that would have been? He would have been gone at 60.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's doing so good. So now he's 62.
Awesome.
And he's also kept the weight off. Everybody, when they see him at our business or whatever, they are just like, what in the world?
Yeah.
What have you done? What's going on? You've added 15 years to your life.
That's great.
And we probably have.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I love the message you're preaching, the validation you're preaching. Everybody thinks it has to be hard.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it has to be depriving and a lot of exercise. And everything you're talking about, Lisa, is supportive of what the most successful coaches and doctors are preaching of get your nutrition under control, create a lifestyle that is easy to maintain long-term, and walk a lot.
Yeah.
And science is very supportive of that. If you're trying to lose weight, walking is the greatest tool we have for weight loss. But everybody thinks, no, I got to go work out really hard. And that's too intimidating, especially in the beginning for people.
Sure.
So I really love what you're saying.
Well, thanks. Well, especially you go to the gym and every class is an hour. Everything, and I was like, I cannot face an hour. I just can't. I need 20 minutes.
Sure.
Or whatever. So I started finding some things online, or I could find something on YouTube or somebody who had a little thing where I'm like, I can do 20 minutes or I can do 7 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a gal who has a 7-minute thing. And that was like all I could get my mind around at first is like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But whatever it takes, then you just build on it. And our walking was just in our neighborhood, but we also have some beautiful foothills around us. And so then at some point I was like, well, maybe I can just go halfway up this hill, maybe next time I'll just go to that Stein, building and just how fast your body really can respond and recover. And I all the years I have abused it, I'm so like, yay. Great for muscle memory.
Sure.
And, things that I'm just like, I'm so grateful that I had been, so fit at some point in my life because my body remembers that. But it's, not any expensive anything.
That's great.
Just eat the good food. We had, do you know that book, Primal Body, Primal Mind, too?
Yeah, that's another really good book.
It's a real, I know, like I said, I have the knowledge. I have the knowledge. But, just being able to actually, translate that into your life and keep it that way. Because like I said, I would just always just be like, I swear it would only take me having one bite of something. And I literally could just
not stop,
feel the runaway train.
Do you
just an addiction, really?
Okay, because do you not? For me, because I just did his reset. That he has a book as well.
I didn't.
Yes, Stark Naked 21-Day Metabolic Reset. Did I say that correctly?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's a great book, and I've done it before, but I did it this time because certain things had kind of crept back into my eating, like gluten and dairy. Even though my dairy was raw and my gluten was only sourdough, long fermented sourdough, I thought, there's some seed oils here and there traveling. And I thought, let's see how much inflammation goes away by doing this 21-day thing. And this time I really noticed a difference.
Oh, that's awesome.
I really did. So, but for me, and maybe this isn't the same for you, once I get certain things out of my diet and I'm not eating anymore, I don't really miss it. But so I see what you're saying.
Yes.
You start tasting and say just a little bit. Some people I think are better at having, okay, well, I'm going to have it. I know I'm not going to feel great tomorrow, but I'll try a little bit today anyway. And I think we live in a society where food is so celebratory. So if you're not drinking and celebrating, you're eating and celebrating. And if you're not partaking in the cookies and the cakes and the ice cream and all the stuff, what's wrong with you? Right? Why aren't you doing? Oh, are you on a diet again? That kind of crap. Right? And no,
especially the again part for me. Yeah.
And maybe it's just no. I just don't want to feel crappy.
It's weird to me that that's the case.
It is, though.
Is that if you choose to take great care of yourself, that all of a sudden something's wrong with you.
Exactly. Well, it is because people want to feel better about what they're doing, I think.
Yeah, and they want to feel okay with their poor choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse than being the person that's choosing to have an unhealthy food while everyone else around you is having healthy food. Right?
Right. Yeah,
so you want them to partake with you so they don't feel so bad in it.
Yeah. But you do feel so much better eating real food, not made up stuff or with all the caca, I'm sure you do too, right?
I do. And people will say, I can't believe you have that kind of willpower. I don't have that willpower.
Yeah.
And I say, I only have enough to not take the first bite.
Okay.
Well,
That's
I
all
like
you have
that.
to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I just have to have enough. I'm just not even going to try it.
Okay.
That's all the
huge.
willpower you need.
Yeah.
I had that first bite and it's over.
Well, exactly. And I mean, I just like, and even being gluten-free, sometimes I would still have corn tortillas, something a little bit that I could, that you could still feel a part of things.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, you know what? I can't, corn is not for me.
Yeah. Well, it's not for a lot of people, actually.
Yeah. And I know, all behind it, what's going on with it, but, just the insulin spike is just, it just trips something in my brain. And just like, I don't ever have any alcohol. I don't ever have any taste of it.
Yeah.
I just have switched that over to my food, that is just not for me.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I have a partner who hasn't drank with me in 30 years. And,
that's great.
And, when we're in the past, when I've done some kind of a program, it's just been me feeling like, on an island, I'm the only one eating this way.
Yes.
But now, he's with me and, we're both having the same thing.
Right.
And, we'll joke, we'll watch the commercials that come on about the crazy food and we're like, oh my God. And we watch the baking championships and we're like, that sounds amazing, but, it's just not something that's in our lives anymore,
right.
Which there has been times when I have cut it out for a long time and thought that was, that I could do it. But there really is an addiction principle in there to some of those sugars and just processed foods. And the people who make those foods, they know it.
Oh.
And they are making them with the layers of flavor and what they do. They know there's just not eating one serving of Doritos.
What is it, Lay's? You can't eat just one?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You made it that way.
I don't. Okay. Am I weird that once the stuff is, when I don't do that anymore, that it tastes way too sweet or way too...
Yeah, no, it's super common. The problem is that people have the cheat meal or the cheat day.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they don't ever get away from it long enough to where they lose the desire and the craving for it.
I see. Okay.
You have to get it out for a long period of time. But all it takes is one little reintroduction and you excite the brain and the addiction stuff will kick back in. And certain types respond more aggressively to that than other types.
You mean personality types?
Personality types,
Okay.
yeah. Like there are addictive personalities that like the feeling of the excitatory response of the brain with those certain foods. So
that makes sense.
like
Lisa's going, yeah, me.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Like there have been multiple times I'll use coffee, for example, or I'll cut coffee out. And I get to a point where I don't even want it anymore. And then I'll have one day I'm a little tired. You know what? I'm just going to have a little coffee today. Just to give me a little energy. And then boom, it's on. It's over. Within a matter of 2 months, I'm having a couple cups of coffee or a coffee and an energy drink. So you have to kind of understand yourself and who you are. Like I'm like Lisa. Like to be really successful with things, I just have to get them out and keep them out.
But why is that frowned upon? Like she said, people think, oh, well, you're not living, you're not experiencing. Look at, you're so, how sad for you that you're never having, the funnel cake from the fair or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But Lisa is living her best life now. Like,
and you feel better than ever.
Yeah. What, like I would
truly, I cannot believe I'm going to be 60.
That's awesome. You don't look 60.
I feel, well, thank you. My daughter told me the lighting was really messing with my eyes.
Well, why didn't she set the lighting up better for you then?
I know. Exactly. Yeah. But she's going to be getting married. She's engaged now, so we're planning a wedding. And I'm just like, oh my God, I do not have to be thinking I've got to lose 30, 40 pounds.
No, that's fantastic.
I'm already there. And I've literally been on this road because I've been trying to prepare for this so that I don't sound like an idiot. And hopefully I don't.
You're doing great.
I was like, I've been at this for 43 years.
Sure.
The first time I had to do something was, at 17, drink the Cambridge.
I did that
diet.
too. Oh my God. That stuff was horrible. Cambridge diet. Yes, I remember that.
17.
Yeah.
So 43 years of my life.
Right.
I feel like a lot of it I've really wasted time and energy and brain power.
Sure.
Calculating and
calories
and thinking calorie exactly. And I have not counted a calorie.
Fantastic.
I have not logged my food thing. I have not been planning out my workouts and I know a lot of people really go on that and that whole calories in, calories out, and the calorie deficit. But it was not that way for me. I have eaten plenty of delicious, healthy fat and vegetables and meats and this Schwarzbein Principle. She even in her cookbooks and everything, and it's kind of some Atkins stuff. Just that fat is it's comforting, it's calming, it satiates you for longer. And so that has been, we have been on the full Kerrygold butter and the avocado and
excellent.
Some good cheeses and everything. And I really only feel deprived maybe if we are somewhere socially and there is a lot of that kind of yummy stuff. But I just turn the other way. It's not for me.
And your husband's doing just as great.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And he'll say the same thing. Yeah, he feels super good. And he took that cardiac rehab. It was 12 weeks, 3 times a week.
So what do they do for that? What does that look like?
So you go to the hospital. They have a whole floor at our hospital.
Okay.
And they have, you have a little class, and then you are fully monitored and hooked up and for walking, for riding the bike, for the aerodyne. And they start you off at a baseline and get that going because you've just had this cardiac event and they need to, take baby steps because even though he just had but he had a stent put in and that really helped. You're still real tired from it.
Sure.
So they just start off very slow. And then every week it's just tracking your meds. And just seeing, let's try a little bit more. Let's try a little bit more. And fortunately, our insurance paid for the whole thing, which, like I said, is 12 weeks, 3 times a week.
Wow.
And he took it to heart, pun intended.
Yes.
Because he was it scared him for sure. And he had never felt pain like that before.
Yeah.
And he's not one to ever never takes a Tylenol. He's never complains about pain, but it scared him.
Yeah.
And
do a wake-up call, big time.
It was, and it probably saved my life too.
That's fantastic.
Because if you're not checking those labs, if you're really not paying attention to that, and I think men don't really like to go have all that stuff done. We, have
True.
all of our yearly stuff
Yeah,
done.
oh, yeah.
And, his labs probably would have tipped off somebody to say, maybe let's do a stress test or
Yeah, see what's
something.
happening.
But it was just 100% blocked. And that
Wow.
is a big deal. And then they called it standby disease, where your other two arteries have some disease too. So by putting the stent in and then him taking that rehab so seriously, they
And he was
feel like he
young,
should be in
right?
really
He
good
was young for this.
60.
No, but I mean, that's pretty
60.
young for that to happen, right? Or what's the average age? Do you have any idea?
Well, if you have it younger, it usually kills you.
Oh.
It's odd. It's
Yeah,
like if you have something that.
The average age of the Widowmaker is like 46.
Is it really?
A lot of people, it's a genetic thing.
Oh.
I was just talking to a client about this the other day.
Okay.
Yeah. And majority of the people die from it. So the fact that her husband survived it,
and then is thriving.
And thriving is amazing. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And when he went back for his yearly checkup with the cardiologist, he was like his first appointment of the morning. He was like, "Oh my God, a success story." He's like, "What a way to start my day."
Yeah.
Because they don't hardly see that. And I can't tell you that it was because of anything he said. I'm very unimpressed with the cardiac thing. I mean, when he was in the hospital, the cardiac menu was a joke. Yeah, I was dying. He's like, he was going to order some applesauce. I was like, no, you're not going to order any applesauce. Yeah. No, this is over. Right.
Yeah.
So between that and they did have some diet lessons at cardiac rehab, but I'm like, please don't listen. Yeah. We're not listening to that. Right. We've got Dr. Schwarzbein. Yeah. She's done the research, and we're going to stick with her because she's got it going on. Yeah. And so, I really believe in it. I kept thinking this week, should I call her and ask her if there anything new that since you printed this book, have I missed out? Is there a updated version or anything like that? But I haven't seen anything that there is, because it's just the facts.
Yeah.
And it explains it so well.
Yeah.
I believe there's a Schwarzbein's Principles 2. I think I have two levels of it.
But I was thinking the 2 might be is it the cookbook maybe?
No, because I don't have the cookbook. No. I didn't know she made a cookbook.
Okay.
It's not. She didn't change anything. It was just like additional information on top of the first volume. I think, if I remember right, it's been a while since I've dove into her stuff. But like, what I love about her is that it's principles, not a diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so it's just. I think it's a book every person should read.
Okay, now I got to go get it.
Yeah, you got to go get it because it's really good. And the primal body, primal mind.
Say that 5 times really fast.
Yeah, I can't. I can barely get out once. Another like incredible book on just foundational lifestyle things to be healthy. Mm-hmm. And when you read these types of books, you start to realize there is strategies out there for healthy, optimal living.
Yep.
And then there are strategies out there to change how the body looks.
Yep.
And they're very different.
Yes.
Healthy lifestyle living is very different than altering how the body looks very quickly.
Yes.
One is very damaging. One is very unsexy, but like the whole motto of live longer, better.
Yep.
Those are the principles that fall into that realm.
Absolutely.
And like what Lisa's saying is it takes longer. She said 18 months, not 2 months.
Right.
But now Lisa and her husband have this whole lifestyle where they've turned the clock back 15 years.
Yeah,
that was worth an 18-month progression for 15 extra years.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, these people doing the Ozempic and stuff like that, majority of them aren't. They're supposed to be adapting the lifestyles and applying the principles while they're doing, but they're not doing that.
Right.
They're just using the trick to cause the body to change. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, long term, if they're not changing the lifestyle and applying the principles like Lisa's talking about, it's not going to last.
Right.
There's going to be
another rebound, and then you've got to
or health, health defects, all kinds of things are coming.
Yeah.
So I just love that she's validating the principles of this is about the rest of your life.
Yeah.
This is not about
the long game. We're playing the long game here.
It wasn't about I got to lose 50 pounds. It was like, no, I got to change our lifestyle to address my husband's issues to make sure that he's around.
Yep.
And that's another beautiful thing is how powerful having an accountability partner is doing it with you.
Yes.
Because so often what I see is
yeah.
couples, one is always trying to undermine the other. I see that all the time when one partner makes but usually what I'll see is someone like Lisa makes the decision to start changing what they're doing, and then starts to look better.
Yes.
And then the partner is like,
let's go out to
I don't like that. You know,
Golden Corral.
Yeah, so they start undermining. Yeah, like all of a sudden they start showing up with cakes and cookies and treats in the house all the time.
Cracker Barrels calling.
Yeah. But if you can get a scenario where you and your significant other or an accountability partner are in it together and all in together, this is what you see.
Yeah.
It's like a power couple right there.
For sure.
It is, and it has been the reason why I've been able to keep it off for an extended period of time, where literally I would hit a goal weight and the next day I would be already starting, gain it back.
Yeah.
And when I hear people talk about Ozempic and everything, when they talk about how it cuts out the mental chatter, I love that. I can see where that is so valuable. But you know what also does that? Is cutting out that processed food. It really does not call my name anymore.
Yeah.
It's not in my body and it's not in my mouth. It does not trigger that for me.
Yeah.
And so that's what, whenever I've been hearing anybody talk about it, I'm like, and you'll lose all that muscle mass.
Yeah.
And
which, trust me, is hard to keep at this age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Really
As we get older, right? It's already a losing battle. You've got to be, doing some weight bearing exercise
big time,
and everything.
Big time.
So here you're eating up your muscle with this, just an easy way. There are no shortcuts, right? We've been hearing that forever. And I am sure there are some people who can really benefit from it. And then especially I know Weight Watchers is now partnering with them to try to help. Yes, that they're trying to work together to go,
kind of like a Lindora.
This shot will help this,
right? But
if you do this with it, you're gonna. And so I kind of think that that's a really interesting match because it's what you said is if it's as soon as you go off of it, as soon as you go off your plan, or as soon as you go off Ozempic, you end up right back where you were and maybe even heavier.
I've been working with some practitioners that are using Ozempic successfully, but in a very, very different manner. There's a lot of focus on lifestyle. They're not giving the dosages are much lower, so it takes longer.
Yeah.
But it allows people to still have some desire to eat the healthy foods.
Yeah.
One benefit they're seeing is that people don't struggle with the desire for the crappy food. That's one interesting thing I've talked to people doing it this way is I'm still hungry. I still want to eat.
Yeah.
But I don't have the desire. Like you could put a bag of cookies in front of me and I don't want it. So it's like they get to choose to eat versus I have to have that.
Yeah.
But they're getting to lift weights. They're getting to focusing on protein. Like they're really working on the lifestyle factor underneath of it.
More important.
Yeah. Versus just blowing them up with higher dosages and killing the desire to eat. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now you're dealing with sarcopenia and the muscle wasting and malnutrition issues. So I agree with you. Like there's a very positive way to do it and a very damaging way to do it. But in our society, people want that wow factor and they want it to be extremes. Everybody wants extremes. Extremes are so sexy.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, with the extremes comes
that's like the Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
You know how big that was for a while.
Yeah.
And I really I do not love the excess skin. For losing that kind of weight, that's really, it's kind of hard to take, and even, and just the crepiness or just anything of just getting older, it's kind of hard to take. But I have a sister that I just was visiting, and she's in the med spa world, and she's like, oh, well, all we have to do is we'll just cut that off and zip that up, and so that, and I was like, I just cannot imagine. This is just my war wound. I'll just say, I've been through battles.
Yeah, for sure.
This was the price that I have to pay, and my arms and my tummy, just that skin. And I think that's the benefit if you could get this under control earlier in your life, where that skin is more resilient and will go back and if you could get this and really have it work in your 30s, I just think how amazing that would be and how much energy and you would have for life, instead of the mental gymnastics
Yeah.
of.
I was going to ask you, how's your daughter been through all of this? How has this impacted her?
Well, she's so proud of us.
I'm sure.
She did ask me, she's like, I don't understand why it took Daddy having
Ooh.
this happen to him
Wow.
that
Wow.
you wouldn't do this just for yourself.
Oh, was that a little?
And it was. And it was also like, I didn't know
You
the
didn't have a
answer
good
to that.
answer. Yeah.
I didn't accept, yeah. I just said, I guess I just really saw, I guess I thought that he could have really died.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I really am the one that can save us both. I have the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't, he has a lot of other stuff that he's super smart and interested in.
Uh-huh.
And this is something I really am interested in. And so once he told me he would listen to me and he would, do what I say versus,
Right.
just, that he would actually go, okay, well, I don't want to read that book. So if you say
Tell
this
me.
or that, I'll do it.
Give me the bullet points.
Right. Exactly. So, and I think she was a client of Dr. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
She has a chronic illness. She's been sick since she was 14 years old. In February, it'll be 10 years. And so I really, instead of putting the oxygen mask on me first to try to help her, I did not take care of myself. All I did was try to find a way to help her and then soothe myself, or, since I don't drink, then I used food as, as
not uncommon
a soothing mechanism. Right. And just to, calming and everything.
Yeah.
So,
I love your openness and vulnerability about that.
For sure.
Well, it was, and it's embarrassing. I mean, the pictures, when I look back, I'm just shocked.
Well,
really, you just don't see it as it comes on slowly, and then you just avoid the mirror all the time, right? So then as you're starting to do something about it, you're checking yourself out more, and you're seeing that those pants don't fit anymore and everything. So then it's easier, to look and to follow yourself. Sure. But, I've really stayed away from the scale. I really, my biggest thing is that I wanted to fit in a certain size clothes. I just kind of wanted to monitor it that way rather than, screw with my, eating disordered mind of that scale being so awful to me.
I think that's something that, Brad and I have had many conversations about. We women are so fixated on a number on that scale. Have you ever met a woman that wasn't?
Majority of them are, it's always
crazy.
It's always something,
crazy.
That we have to address. A lot of guys too.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I am
it's
surprised.
Not just women. A lot of guys have
a number.
Everyone has a number.
Yeah.
Of like, if I just weigh that number, my life's going to be great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what is that?
And it's from.
Go ahead.
It's from that body mass index.
Totally.
Scale.
Totally.
And so I'm not 5 feet tall. I'm not even 4'11". So when you see 5 feet, and it usually starts at 5 feet at 100 pounds, I'm like, I should weigh 100 pounds. That has been, even though I had, I was fit and had way more muscle than would allow 100 pounds. That was always in my head, and still kind of in the back of my head. The shoulds. That's what I should weigh, and that BMI scale, and it just literally just have growing up in the 80s and just be, in dance team and cheerleading and all the things where we had to be weighed every Monday and, just awful things that just, I don't think they still do that.
No,
I don't know, but
no, they're better at that.
Hate that.
So I had a run-in with BMI yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
Is your BMI all messed up?
So there's now these new apps out there that use with AI. You can take a picture of a meal and it'll give you all your calories and macros and everything. So I'm like, I want to play with that. So I sign up for one and I start entering my information, and I put my weight in, my height, all that stuff, and then it comes out, how much weight do you want to lose? I'm like, I don't want to lose weight. Like, I like where I'm at. Yeah. And so I said none, and it comes like, it's highly recommended you lose weight. And then it put a picture of my BMI. And at my weight, I am obese.
Come on.
Yeah. I was like, oh my Lord. I'm like, I'm not obese by any means.
No, you're not.
But I was like, well, this is what jacks people up. Because it's telling me I'm like 25 pounds overweight.
What?
Yeah, I'm like...
He's very muscular.
You take 25 pounds off me, I'm a string bean. But I'm like, oh my gosh.
And the average person's looking at that and freaking out.
Yeah, freaking out. Like the normal person might be like, oh my God, I'm obese.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like still there. That is like one of the worst things out there is BMI. And this app was like just very persistent on you need to lose weight.
Come on, Brad.
I don't want to. Like it was so weird. But yeah, that BMI stuff is still out there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's so whack.
It's so whack.
Yeah.
I mean, it affected my insurance policy, my life insurance policy, because I was obese. And back then I was severely obese because I was another 15 pounds heavier than I am now. Yeah.
So they don't take into account body mass index?
They don't. I mean, I think they're starting to do like waist measurement, things like that.
Oh,
like,
you think? Wow.
Yeah. Like they're trying to kind of change it up a little bit. But yeah, to the BMI, you got to be really careful because it wants us like at super low weight levels.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to go, I would have to strip off a lot of muscle, which then would be detrimental to my long-term health to reach this BMI goal of 145 pounds. Want to be at 145 pounds.
You?
Yeah, that's what it told me. My ideal weight would be 145 pounds. I'm 175. So like to be ideal, we're talking just to get out of the obese category, I had to lose like 15. But to be ideal, they wanted me at 30 pounds lighter than I am now.
Wow. Okay, that's nuts.
It's disgusting. Yeah. Like I would look.
And it's contributing to the craziness because people are like, I can't do that. I might as well just eat this.
Yeah. Good point.
You know,
good point.
70, I think they say 70% of the population at this point is overweight. 70%. And I think having that thought of that BMI and everything, I think it's so discouraging that I just think it's counteractive. You know, people are just like, I can't do that.
Counterproductive.
So I'm just gonna, I can't get down to that weight.
No.
I've never, maybe some of them are like, I've never been that weight.
Yeah.
And so,
part of it too is this whole body positivity thing that's come into play. That we're trying to say that someone that is morbidly obese, they're still beautiful. They're still okay. Well, maybe inside they're still beautiful, but it's not healthy. We all know that. Take your husband was only 35 pounds overweight. That's not morbidly obese, and he still had a very significant health scare. So I think that the way that we've kind of tiptoed around some of that stuff and made it seem, oh no, it's okay. You feel good. You like how I feel good about myself. It's not healthy. It has nothing to do with the vanity.
I'm gonna counter that.
Okay.
I have seen overweight people be much healthier than really lean people.
But are you talking like
I'm talking
morbidly obese?
No, I'm not talking like morbidly obese.
I'm just talking about like how Lizzo was.
No, okay, so that's extreme. Okay. I'd like to be saying like, well, like comparing Lizzo to an anorexic, like both extremely very unhealthy.
Okay.
But I'm saying like someone that's like 30, 35 pounds overweight.
No, I don't consider that one.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
all.
I've seen them be healthier than people that are super lean when you start looking at labs and all those markers.
Yeah, I would believe that.
So we have to be careful of like, okay, well, what body is super healthy?
Right, yeah. Good point.
It's very individualized. And if you look at like high level sports, you'll see that like a lot of like high level sports, there's very different. Like look at Quinn in volleyball.
Right.
There's very different makeups, and they're all young and super healthy and very fit.
Yes.
So we got to be careful of that. Like being overweight's unhealthy. I've seen really lean people be super unhealthy.
Sure, I would agree with you.
They're very fit. They're very fit, but they're very unhealthy.
Yeah.
So
now, I was just talking about someone that has a really
if you're extremely overweight or extremely underweight, those are dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, those are very unhealthy. Yeah, neither one is in a healthy state.
Right.
Yeah. I thought we were talking like being 30, 25, 30.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of people do think like, they're unhealthy. Like that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Like that may just be their body type. I've seen people be 25, 30 pounds
heavier than what they think they should be.
Yeah, being deemed overweight, but they're really healthy when you start looking at their blood chemistry and everything they're doing. But I've also seen really lean people with like 15-pack abs and be super unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like walking train wrecks, they're just incredibly fit, but they're very unhealthy.
From the outside, anyway.
Yeah, because everyone looks in like, the more leaner someone is, the healthier they are. That is not the truth.
Yeah.
I've seen, I do not agree with that one at all.
Right.
So that was my 2 cents.
Okay, that was more than 2 cents, actually.
That was like 15
that might have
cents.
been, No, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that fat around the middle really is very telling, right? Just that, and that's where my husband kind of carried his a little weight. I mean, we're not talking about a paunch or anything, but just excess weight on the stomach and everything. And that's what Dr. Schwarzbein talks about the insulin and everything. And that is it is a incredible indicator that something is not right inside of you if you're carrying that weight around your midsection. But just talking about the offset of the BMI and how crazy that is. I don't know if Alona Mar, who is on Dancing with the Stars right now, she is the Olympic rugby player.
Oh.
She is this most beautiful gal, and she is the most fit, strong, but she is as tall and built as her partner.
Oh, really?
And oh my gosh, she is so amazing, but she gets so much grief because of
she
her,
is such
her
a
size.
badass. I really
But
like
she
her.
isn't she something? I mean, beautiful, but she does not fit. She does not fit a mold of a little tiny dancing person, right? But she has got, she's got to be so fit. But I bet her BMI is ridiculous because it just doesn't make any, sense. But she is so fit, and she is a reason, even if you've never watched that show, to kind of tune in and see how amazing she is.
Yeah.
So,
well,
that's.
I love how she handles all the flack that she takes by how she looks. She handles it brilliantly.
Wasn't there an Olympic medalist too that had the same thing happen from the last Olympics?
This is the same
one.
one.
It is the same person. Okay,
yeah. I don't know if they medaled or not.
I thought it was, okay.
No, she's a U.S. rugby player.
Oh, rugby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was talking about how people are telling me, I'm morbidly obese according to BMI.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have seen that girl.
She's unreal. And the way she handles
it, takes it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Just knows.
And I love how vulnerable she is. I mean, she's not trying to be like this tough rugby broad. She just will cry her eyes out about how painful it is and how it hurts, to have people talk to her about this. But then at the same time, I mean, she's killing it on Dancing with the Stars.
That's
great. I'm so thrilled with her. And I know she's giving a whole new generation of young girls a different way to look at, athleticism and how you can, you don't have to look like a swimsuit model or a professional dancer per se to be healthy and to be a good dancer or an athlete. And so it's very exciting. But she's probably I'm like 4'10" 3/4 or something. I bet she's I'm not quite 4'11". She's probably, I don't know, 5'11" or something. She is just
so tall.
Oh, she's something. I'm so impressed with her.
Yeah.
I came across this quote today. It reminds me of this from Mike Tyson. He said, "Social media made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it."
Well,
isn't that?
Because a lot of these people wouldn't say that stuff to that woman's face.
Yeah,
because you would get mangled.
Yeah, that's a good point. But we're all just. I mean, unfortunately, we kind of all have this, more women than men for sure, this idea of what we should look like, or we're attached to, oh my gosh, that woman's physique. Oh, I want to just look like that.
Yeah, and somewhere along the line, we got this idea of that's healthy.
Right.
I'm not healthy because I don't look like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's something completely out of, like, the hip, your hip girdle is different.
Yeah.
And, your femur is longer. Whatever it is, you're not going to be able to do exactly what that person is.
Yeah. We lost the whole, I'm going to become the best version of myself.
Yes.
And being super stoked and happy with that versus I got to look like that person. Or I don't add up because I don't look like that person.
Yeah, for sure. And it gets more challenging as we get older, right, Lisa? Because we say, wait a minute, I still feel in my head like I'm 35. What the heck,
Well, and you don't really sometimes. My daughter just thinks I am so gullible whenever social media and everything. I'm like, how do they look that? Like, look how they look that if I'm watching Real Housewives of Orange County or whatever.
Right.
She's like, Mom, they have had stuff done.
Yeah.
That's fillers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a tummy tuck.
Sure.
That's a lift.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
somehow I'm thinking that they are just this
Looking like that.
glowing, radiant. They just woke up that way.
No,
She's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Right. She's
Yeah.
like, you could, if you had that kind of disposable income and you wanted to spend that kind of time,
absolutely.
you know, you could
do
look
the
like
same.
that too.
You're right.
Which it's not, I am not interested.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and fortunately, my friend group and everything, none of us are. So it's really nice that there's not, you know, that I'm not like the only one that's not having a CO2
facelift
laser
or whatever.
facelift or whatever.
Exactly. That kind of freaks me out, quite honestly, a facelift.
Oh my
That they're like
God,
peeling my
I can't
face, you know, like what was that movie that Nicolas Cage was in? Wasn't it
Face
Nicolas
Off.
Cage? Thank you. Face Off. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I think. They peel your face back and then, ugh.
I just can't believe how expensive they are.
Well, I don't think
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they are.
Like
They are.
85 grand.
Oh, is that? No way.
I was just talking to the
Yeah.
doctor
Come on.
about. I was just talking with the doctor about like what the stuff costs, and he's
For
like,
a facelift, it's 85 grand.
yeah,
Holy crap.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I'm not interested in it.
Me too.
Oh yeah, because it couldn't happen for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really expensive. All this stuff's really expensive. Yeah.
And the bar just keeps getting set higher.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
Younger and younger.
I know. Well, Lisa, that is so amazing what you guys have persevered through and just come out the other side healthier, happier. You know, I love it. And I'm so glad that you reached out. I always tell, anytime someone reaches out to me that I know, and maybe Brad doesn't know, I'm always screenshotting, look at this. We're reaching people.
Yeah.
So it makes me so happy. And I'm so honored that you came on and shared your story.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And to all the listeners,
Yeah.
please check out the book, Schwarzbein Principles.
Will you
and
tag it?
Primal
Will you-
Body, Primal Mind. Yeah, we'll get it tagged
Okay,
in the showcase notes because I'm so glad. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
I still have them on my bookshelf, but I
Good.
haven't opened them. I want to go back and reread them because this stuff is so good. So thank you for bringing those to the forefront and mentioning
love it.
those.
Yeah.
I'm so glad, and thank you. I was very nervous leading
you
up to
shouldn't.
this. I just wasn't sure if I had enough to really.
Absolutely.
Oh, you killed it.
Anybody,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
And next time you're in the OC, you better look me up, girlfriend.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, great.
I would love to.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.